EGOO Drop. Or my mission has been to learn the opposite sex's language.
I had to learn and understand the nature of the woman.
Okay.
So by learning and understanding that nature, one of the natures of a woman is expression in its purest form.
That's interesting. Oh, you're great. All right, where else we going with this topic?
I have to open myself up spiritually, and I've opened myself up a lot this year. In fact, I've opened up the feminine side of myself.
The beginning of mastering your rate and dropping your ego is actually speaking the same damn language.
EGOO Drop.
EGOO Drop.
Peace, families, brother Logas.
And Lydell Rush.
And we're here on another episode of
EGOO Drop.
So, all right, the funny thing about this is actually it's like our third, fourth take. And it's not because...
Which is okay.
And it's actually not because we're messing up. It's actually because our egos were clashing. That's the funny part about it. So, instead of talking about what we were trying to talk about, we're going to talk about our egos clashing. All right. So so what I want to look at is that when men and women are conversating or communicating, because of the different ways that we communicate and the different ways that we express vibration to each other, as well as the intuitive way that we look at the other person or the opposite sex, because we also see each other in certain roles as well. So we have certain expectations on how we believe, I believe how the woman should react, and her how she believes the man should react, on top of how she just wants me to react versus how I want her to react, right? On top of the way that we communicate and the way that we translate information and energy, that's also different. So it's like 3 or 4 layers right there, off the rip, right? And because of that, our egos, especially I know my ego was getting in the way from not listening to her energy and paying too much attention to the words, right? Which I know for guys, that's like very foreign. Like,
it's
what
hard
do you, like?
to do.
Of course, you gotta listen to the words. What do you mean? How else do you mean? Like, but no, but
ooh, because we speak two different languages. Because we are, it reigns true anyway that we are from 2 different planets. That is so true because we do communicate differently. And I was speaking to you a few weeks ago speaking to us about how we have to learn, or my mission has been to learn the opposite sex's language. They are foreigners to the feminine race. So you do not speak the same language. So it was a prime example that we really have to dissect and say, what are you saying? So then we can have the same results.
And the thing with me, because of the nature of the business that I'm in, I have to open myself up spiritually, and I've opened myself up a lot this year. In fact, I've opened up the feminine side of myself, and because of that, I actually, when she gets a little bit more, I guess, aggressive, right? I actually view it and feel it kind of from a more feminine perspective now. So her slight aggression feels bigger. Just like my aggression to because I'm a man, if I start getting intense and aggressive to a woman, it feels way bigger than what it would feel like to a man.
Yeah.
If I did it to a man, it feels way bigger.
Yeah.
So I'm actually now in that state I just got into the state this year, I guess it's a 2020 thing, where when she gets a little aggressive, my mind is picturing it way bigger than what it really is. So I actually feel, so I'm kind of actually dealing with the same challenge that she deals with me. So I understand. I can see that now.
Yeah. That's interesting. Oh, you're great. All right, where else we going with this topic? This is good.
Yeah. So then the question becomes, how do we speak on the same language?
Yeah. How do we do that? How do we master your mate.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of mastering your mate
Mm-hmm.
and dropping your ego is actually speaking the same damn language. Or understanding the same languages. And what that means and what steps that takes. So what do you think it looks like from the man's side of, shoot, you for the last year or so have definitely been challenged or started mastering some areas of the feminine. So what areas do you see that language wise you kind of broke the barrier?
Mm-hmm. Well, one, I had to learn and understand the nature of the woman.
Okay.
So by learning and understanding that nature, one of the natures of a woman is expression in its purest form, which means the woman doesn't necessarily always have a rhyme or reason that she thought through on why she's expressing anything.
Yeah.
Right? Intuitively or instinctually or according to nature or the cosmos, they created a reason for her to say whatever she said. But she doesn't always make the conscious processing before she starts to do it. She just does it.
Yeah.
Right?
Unconsciously.
She's just doing it, you know? And so I had to, once I learned that, I have to remember that. It's very hard to remember because the visual, the physical is so easy at convincing me that you are thinking just like I am.
Yeah.
Like the physical says like you're physically here, so obviously you're thinking just like I am. But you're not.
Seeing like I'm seeing.
You're seeing like I'm seeing.
But you're not.
But she's not.
And in height, the simplest thing is height, and why men are usually tall and women tend to be shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Is because of this one reason. Because we're from different planets, for one, we're structured differently.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we speak different languages, we look differently, our builds are differently.
Mm-hmm.
We're made to do different things because, ants, they all have different shapes for different jobs. Same thing as humans. The man's height is above to look forward,
mm-hmm.
and the woman tends to look up and at the man.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I think it was my phone last time.
It was. So, can you put it on vibrate? What was I saying about the height? Because it really.
You said the man looks forward because he's looking up high. So then the woman looks at the man. You said.
Yes. But what it correlated to what I was just saying prior to height. What were we saying?
Oh, we were just talking about the different languages of the man and the woman, and I was saying how. I get caught up in the visual thing because I see you, then you must see me in the same way.
And men are taller than women.
Mm-hmm.
They usually look over and see this view.
Mm-hmm.
How can I, who am not at the same height as you, not have the same view as you, not come from the same planet as you, not even speak the same language and be bilingual yet? How can I see what you see? Your expectations are so high. As a man, as a woman, because we are on different planes, we speak different languages, you have to then look down because your view is so high, your view is on your level. It can't be on the same plane. I can't see what you're saying until you become bilingual. That's just how we're made to. It's how we're made. You have to become bilingual.
But if you are okay. So what you're saying is that since you're speaking on two wavelengths,
yes,
right, or like Spanglish in a sense, right? Well, see, that's what the confusing part becomes, because this person that speaks Spanglish, well, that doesn't mean they can speak Spanish.
No.
That's not what that necessarily is.
That's not.
But usually, I guess you would have a little bit of trouble, so you need someone else that maybe also speaks Spanglish. Okay. But the man does come from the woman, though.
What we trying to say?
So, well, I don't know. I'm trying to, I don't know if I I don't know how far I agree or disagree at this point.
Of what? With what?
With the bilingual. I don't know.
You don't think we speak two different language?
No, we do, but we don't. We speak the same. It's like, okay, if I speak English, but you speak Spanish and English.
It's broken English.
You still speak English.
You speak broken English that also cannot be understood at times. Guess what?
Well, I can't understand you, right?
But think of a foreigner. Think of you are a foreigner and I'm from Earth. Say that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
You come and learn my language,
Mm-hmm.
English, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not from here, so guess what you have?
Mm-hmm.
You have this accent that sometimes sounds like other words. Because your accent is so strong. That is what happens with the male and female.
But technically,
because you're speaking the same language,
the males aren't really coming from anywhere foreign. We're coming from the woman. So not like we're coming from a foreign place.
Well, that's
we're
from the beginning.
From you. So shouldn't you be able
You've been
to...
detached. You've been detached.
So
you became. Guess what? You moved away for so long. You were detached and separate from the woman for so long. For one, they created you. I started thinking about something else. I started thinking about the fallen one after creation.
Mm-hmm.
Put it down on what earth? Who fell on this earth? Man, which was devil, man, part of God, which was human, woman. But that was fallen on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, where was I going? Because I had something good. Where was I going?
I don't know.
I don't know. It was good. Go back to what you were saying.
You saying that, or you were saying because I was like, how are we detached? And you said, well, first we created you. That's the first.
That's the first detachment.
Detachment, yeah.
And then we were placed on a earth to dwell.
Mm-hmm.
Man isn't out in space.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they could be, but this type of man, human, is on this earth.
Okay.
So we were placed, and that's another detachment. This reminds me of why it's not an excuse, but it's a reason why fathers have that type of detachment where they do not do anything with their children until death. Sometimes they never reconnect with their children. You know why? It's no excuse, but I know why. Because there is no connection. There's so much detachment on so many levels. Mm-hmm. They didn't carry the child. Therefore, there's a motherly, intuitive connection that they don't have. There's a physical connection. They don't live with the child. Therefore, there's a physical disconnection. Then there's of course, spiritual connection, because your spirits they're intertwined, but they're disconnected because of proximity. And then there's other layers of disconnect. So I understand. This reminds me of that. Humans were disconnected on so many levels. It created so much distance and it created the different dimensions. That's why we can't always tap into the spirit. Mm-hmm. Because we're not always on that dimension. Mm-hmm. Because of the separation. So imagine how hard it is for people. Generations go on and never tap into who they are. Generations, decades, nations never realize who they are and how they started and where they come from and whose they are and why they're here. Mm-hmm. Because of the disconnection. Same thing happens for man and woman. Mm-hmm. There's a few blocks. There's some disconnection. Therefore, we can't see until we drop the ego. Mm-hmm. And then you can reconnect. And then I can reconnect. And then you can reconnect with me. Twice. Mm-hmm. 2 chains.
I'm gonna leave it at that note. Because I'm a little lost.
No, guess what? That's okay. Please like, subscribe. Please tune in, comment below. And don't forget, anywhere you see a nice little pointer, put a needle there. Leave a comment. If there's any topics you want us to cover, please shoot them to us. You got me, Lydell.
I'm Brother Logas.
And you are on EGOO Drop.
Also go to www.eternalrushllc.com and check out our services.
Please.
And now the EGOO Dropped.
Bow.
Peace.